Well, here we go. Another crazy story in my inbox. My wife hid a devastating secret that showed in a letter addressed to me. This happened just 8 months ago, but it feels like a lifetime. I was cleaning out the garage on a Saturday morning while my wife was at her yoga class. I've been putting air quotes around that phrase in my head lately because things just didn't add up anymore. I found a small box tucked behind some Christmas decorations. It's a weird place for it. I figured it was just more holiday stuff, but when I opened it, there was a stack of letters. The one on top had my name on it. It wasn't sealed. I am a construction manager for a big company in town. My wife works as an office manager at a dental practice. We've been married 16 years and have 2 kids, a boy who's 14 and a girl who's 12. Our life wasn't perfect, but I thought we were happy. The letter was addressed to me, but it wasn't meant for me to find. Not yet anyway. It was dated for 3 months in the future. I didn't expect to read anything like that. As I started reading, my stomach dropped like I was on a roller coaster. Dear Steve, by the time you read this, I'll already be gone. I've been planning this for over a year. The letter went on explaining how unhappy she'd been for years, how she found someone else, how she had been moving money into a separate account. That's crazy. If this man did not clean that garage that day, he probably would have not found that letter. How our house wasn't in my name alone like I thought. I sat down right there on the garage floor. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold the paper. I read it 3 more times to make sure I wasn't mistaken. There were other letters in the box, some to our kids, some to her parents, one to her best friend, all explaining why she was leaving, all with slightly different stories. Looking back now, there were signs. My wife started going out more with her friends from work. She got a new phone and suddenly had a password on it. Our sex life, which was never amazing, but at least regular, had almost completely stopped. Last month, she went on a girls' weekend, but came back with no photos, no stories. How many people you know will go on a vacation and not take a single photo in the 21st century? When I asked about it, she got defensive and said I was being controlling. I didn't fly into a rage when I found the letter. I didn't call her screaming. I didn't break things or punch walls. Instead, I put everything back exactly the way I found it. I finished cleaning the garage. I made lunch for the kids when they got back from their activities. I smiled and asked my wife about yoga when she got home. But inside, my world was on fire. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about what to do next. Did I confront her? Did I wait and see if there were more clues? Did I talk to a lawyer first? One thing I knew for sure, I wasn't going to let her blindside me. If she had a plan, I needed one too. I remembered something my dad told me years ago. Pay attention to what people do, not what they say. My wife said she loved me, but her actions told a very different story. Let me repeat that. Pay attention to what people do, not what they say. People, remember that. The next morning, I took a long drive to clear my head. I needed to think. I couldn't tell the kids yet. I couldn't tell anyone. I needed more information. The letter mentioned someone called Samuel, her boss. I didn't know much about him in our lives. At least, I didn't think I did. But now I needed to find out everything about him and about what else my wife was hiding, because the woman who wrote that letter, that wasn't the woman I married. That was a stranger who had been living in my house, sleeping in my bed, raising my kids, and I was going to find out who she really was before she had a chance to pull the rug out from under me. I'm not the type of guy who makes quick decisions. I think things through. I plan. That's why I'm good at my job. Construction projects need careful planning. So I didn't blow up my marriage right away. I needed to know what I was dealing with. For a whole week after finding the letter, I acted normal. Well, as normal as you can act when you find out your wife is planning to leave you and take everything. Yeah, this is kind of a unique situation because most men don't know their wife is unhappy or planning to leave them until it's too late. During that week, I started paying attention, real attention. Karen was on her phone constantly. She'd take calls in another room or outside on a patio. She deleted her text messages. She stayed late at work at least twice a week. One night when she was working late, I was paying bills and noticed a discrepancy in our credit card statement. There were charges from a jewelry store I'd never heard of and the hotel. When I asked Karen about it later, she claimed they were work expenses she'd accidentally put on her personal card. She'd fix it right away. I also noticed she started wearing a necklace I'd never seen. She always took it off before coming home, but once I spotted it in her car center console. I decided I needed evidence, but I couldn't afford a private investigator. Man, they cost thousands of dollars. I had to be smart about this. I ordered a small GPS tracker online for $39.99. Nothing fancy, but it had an app that showed location history. The review said the battery lasted about 3 days. Just going to wash her car as a surprise, I told Karen one Saturday while she was doing laundry. She smiled, thinking I was being nice. I carefully placed the tracker under the passenger seat while I was washing her car. It was small enough that you'd never notice unless you were looking for it. I also made sure it was secure if she had to stop abruptly. For the next 3 days, I watched her movements on my phone. The dental office during work hours, but then long stops at places that were not on her usual route home. While gathering evidence this way, I also did some digging at home. I checked our bank statements going back a year. Karen and I have separate accounts and one joint account for bills. There were regular withdrawals from her account, $80 here, $120 there, small enough not to raise immediate concerns, but they added up to over thousands over time. Money that wasn't going to our family. I checked our credit report. There was a credit card I didn't know about in my name with an $8,000 balance. Now, after seeing this, me personally, put a freeze on his credit. Yes, you can freeze your credit. I went to talk to our lawyer, Jim. I've known him for years. We play golf sometimes. This isn't good, Steve, he said after I showed him copies of what I'd found. She's setting you up. What should I do? I asked. Don't tip your hand. Not yet. Gather everything, and whatever you do, don't leave the house, no matter how bad it gets. 2 weeks of playing detective gave me all the proof I needed. I followed her yoga class one day when I called in sick to work, parked across the street from the studio. Karen never went inside. Instead, she drove almost 45 minutes to a subdivision in the next city over. I used my phone to take pictures. Karen goes into a nice 2-story home. Karen and a tall gray-haired man sitting together on the back patio. Karen kissing him where anyone could see. I Googled the address later, found out the man was Samuel, the person she mentioned in the letter, her boss, and the house was his, according to the property records online, but he also had other homes. There's more, I told myself as I dug deeper. I checked our home computer's browser history when Karen was out. She hadn't cleared it completely. Real estate websites, houses in Charlotte, 600 miles away, where my kids would grow up without me. She's planning to take the kids, I asked myself. That night, I created a fake Facebook account and found Samuel's profile. It was mostly private, but there was a recent post about exciting new opportunities in Charlotte, with Karen commenting heart emojis. I needed to know everything before I made my next move. I went to see Monica, Karen's best friend. We've never been close, but I thought maybe she'd tell me the truth. I don't know what you're talking about, she said when I asked her about Karen's plans, but she wouldn't look me in the eye. Please, I said, I need to know what's happening in my own life. Monica finally broke down. She's been unhappy for years, Steve. You work all the time. You don't listen to her. Samuel makes her feel special. And the plan to take my kids to Charlotte? To lie and say I'm abusive? Monica's face went white. She told you? No, I said. She didn't. I asked Monica not to say anything to Karen about our conversation. I left Monica's house with one more piece of the puzzle. Karen had been planning this for over a year, and she was willing to lie, to destroy my reputation, my relationship with my kids, to get what she wanted. On the way home, I stopped at the library and used their computer to search for North Carolina custody laws. I wasn't taking any chances with my own devices. Karen checked them sometimes to clean up viruses. I decided it was time to stop being passive. I needed to protect myself and my children. I spent the next few days getting everything in order. I opened a new bank account at a different bank. I made copies of all our financial documents. I recorded conversations with my wife's best friend and two other friends of hers who confirmed what was going on. I didn't want to have this conversation with my wife when the kids were home, so I arranged for them to stay at my parents' house for the weekend. I told them it was so their mom and I could have a special weekend together. When Friday night came, I was ready. My wife came home late as usual. She was surprised to see the kids gone and candles lit in the dining room. "What's all this?" she asked. "I thought I would plan something nice," I said. "Sit down." She looked nervous but sat across from me at the table. "How was work?" I asked. "Fine," she said. "Busy. And how's your boss?" Her face changed instantly. First shock, then anger. "What are you talking about? Your boss? The man you've been sleeping with for at least a year? The man you're planning to move to Charlotte with?" She tried to deny it at first, but I just sat there, calm, as she went through the stages. Denial, anger, blame. "You were never there for me," she shouted. "You were always working to provide for our family while you were spending our money on hotel rooms with your boyfriend. It's not like that," she said. "Then what's it like? Explain to me why you have a letter ready to tell me you're leaving. Explain the credit card in my name that I never signed for. Explain why you're telling people I'm abusive." She went pale. "How do you know all this? Does it matter?" "I know. That's enough." For the first time in our conversation, she looked scared. "Good. What do you want?" she asked. "I want a divorce, and I want custody of our children." "You can't take my kids," she shouted. "I'm not taking them. I'm keeping them in their home, in their schools, with their friends. You're the one planning to drag them across the country." She started to cry then, real tears or fake ones. I couldn't tell anymore. I didn't care. "I've already talked to a lawyer. I know about the money you've been hiding. I know about the plans you've been making. I know everything. What are you going to do?" "I'm going to protect my children and myself. You can have the divorce you want, but not on your terms." She got angry again then. She started throwing things, called me names, said I tricked her. I just sat there recording everything on my phone in my pocket. After she calmed down, I told her she had two choices. "We can do this the easy way or the hard way. The easy way is you agree to joint custody here in this city. You take only what's fairly yours in the divorce, no lies, no games." "And the hard way?" she asked. "The hard way is I show everyone, the judge, your parents, our friends, the kids, exactly what you've been doing and planning, every lie, every manipulation." I guess this is what they call you controlling the narrative. She left that night to think things over, went to stay with her best friend. The hardest part came next, telling our kids. I didn't want to destroy their relationship with their mother, but I couldn't let them believe lies either. I kept it simple. "Mom and Dad are getting divorced." I told them when they came home Sunday. "Mom has found someone else she wants to be with." My son got angry. My daughter cried. I held them both and promised nothing would change with me. "You'll stay here, in this house, in your schools," I said. "I'm not going anywhere." It's been 6 months since that weekend. Karen didn't take the easy way. She tried to fight, to lie, to manipulate, but I had evidence of everything. The divorce was finalized last month. I got primary custody of the kids. Karen got standard visitation every other weekend, Wednesday dinners, split holidays. She's dating Samuel openly now. They bought a condo across town. Her boss is selling the house I saw her go to that day. I think our lawyer made it clear that moving the kids would not be allowed. Some friends took Karen's side in the divorce, said I was controlling for following her, said I should have just talked to her first. Easy to say when you're not the one being set up, but most people saw through her lies, especially after the financial stuff came to light in court. The judge was not impressed by the hidden credit card or the money she'd been siphoning off. My kids are doing okay. Not great, but okay. They're in therapy. I'm in therapy too. It helps. Karen's relationship with them is strained. My son barely speaks to her. My daughter is trying harder to maintain a connection, but it's tough. Karen missed my daughter's school play last month because she and Samuel were on a cruise. Some things never change. I'm doing better than I expected. Some days are hard. I missed the woman I thought I was married to, but that woman never really existed. Last week, I was cleaning out Karen's old desk and found another letter. I think my man needs to stop cleaning for a while. Seems to find nothing but bad news. This one wasn't addressed to anyone. It was just thoughts she'd written down. Sometimes I think about what would happen if Steve found out before I'm ready. It would ruin everything. I need to be more careful. I tore it up and threw it away. I don't need any more reminders of her deception. For anyone reading this who thinks something isn't right in their marriage, pay attention. Don't ignore the small signs. They add up. And if you find a letter meant for you but not given to you yet, read it. It might save your life. Karen didn't win. I didn't let her story become our story. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's just making sure the truth comes out and then living your best life anyway. Some people ask and wonder why I don't give more commentary. That's simple. You didn't click on the video for my commentary. You clicked on the video to hear me tell a story. Until next time.